Hello, today I'd like to talk a little bit about sowing chilies and then pricking out chilies, which with all the clips we did last year, that will bring us right round for the whole cycle basically. I'm just going to sow one variety. I'm going to sow some jalapenos, which is obviously a favourite supermarket chili. And I'm just going to sow a few which are literally for ourselves, so they're going to go into a 7cm pot. Obviously if you're growing more of one variety you can go into a slip, or maybe even to something like a seed tray. This is nice clean fresh seed compost, brand new pot, so there's no chance of any disease or anything like that. Just going to gently firm the compost down with my hand, so we're not going too firm. Chili seed is very similar to tomatoes, and to a lesser extent also aubergines, and in actual fact I'd say that the technique I'm using for the chilies is the same technique you could use for aubergines, but as you'll see later on, tomatoes differ with regard to pricking out. So yeah, chili seed is very flat. One word of caution at this point: if you're sowing some of the hotter varieties like Victoriana, Aubergine, that sort of thing, do remember that the seed is also very, very hot. So now touching my eyes or whatever, or even just the smell coming off the seed can be pretty strong, so maybe gloves is needed for the stronger varieties. All we do then is just gently broadcast a few seeds on. As I say, I only want 3 or 4 plants, and maybe 1 or 2 that we'll give to friends, so I think I've sowed about 10 seeds there, and I've spread them out like so. The rest can go back in the packet. That's great. And then the next thing we need to do obviously is cover the seed. Like tomato seed, it doesn't want to be too deeply covered, so I prefer to sieve the compost over the surface, which obviously I'll use a sieve for. As I say, we're just literally covering the seed, like so. I'll just tuck that down. Pop a label on that. As I say, that's jalapeno. And then we'll water those. And they're going to go onto our prop beds. And that's going to sit at a temperature of about 24-25 Celsius, which is something like around 75 Fahrenheit. And they're going to take a couple of weeks plus to germinate, so they're a little bit slower than tomatoes. If you're growing, once again going back to the varieties like Victoriana, Aubergine, some of the Indian varieties, the Chinense varieties, you'll find they'll actually be a little bit slower on top of that, and also a little bit more heat won't do them any harm at all. Don't go mad, don't go much above sort of 27, 28, which is about 80, but that little bit of extra heat will help on germination. The seed can be a bit slower. So that's going to be watered. That will go onto our prop bed, as I say. We'll also put them under light, which will help them not elongate so much. They're actually better than tomatoes in that regard. And that would be the same for aubergines as well, same temperatures, and you'll find once again that they won't elongate like tomatoes. So moving on from there, I've actually got some chilies here that were sown on the 17th of February. So what's that? That's about 3 weeks now that these have been done. And this is a variety called Omnicolor, and they're ready for pricking out. And the difference really between chilies and tomatoes is that you do not prick them out too deeply. If you prick them out too deeply, you will find that they'll actually die off. The reason being is that chilies and aubergines do not stem root, so they need to be pricked out nice and shallowly. So we'll literally just prick out to that sort of depth. As I say, go deep, they will just sit there and they will not grow away. And then what I'll do with these, they're actually, we've got room on the heat at the moment, so they're going to go back onto the heat. And they can take that full heat if you've still got it, so they'll happily sit there at a 75-ish sort of temperature, 24 Celsius. Or if you want, you can go cooler. You can go down to something like 65, I guess, which is about 18 Celsius, and they'll be quite happy at that sort of temperature. And then in about a month's time, maybe a little bit longer, when the plants have got nice and woody and started to strengthen up, it'll be time to pot on. And these will be potted on into a 9cm pot, and we'll grow them on at the lower temperature at around 65, 70. Obviously it'll be warming up in the greenhouse by then anyway. And then from then on we'll move into the 12 litres as we've done in the other clips. So basically that is it for sowing and pricking out chilies and sweet peppers, exactly the same. And as I say, we can use the same technique for aubergines as well. The critical thing with aubergines, chilies, sweet peppers is that you do not bury them deep at this point, because it will just be certain failure. But that's about it.